CJ Flyer back with another YouTube video. Quick one today. Just want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets and their interesting situation now that Cam Thomas, as reported a couple hours ago, is going to be out for a few weeks with a hamstring injury. He ranks 14th in scoring in the NBA, averaging career highs in points per game, shooting percentage, and three-point percentage. And I wanted to take a look at his stats here because sure enough, he has continued to progress even further. I remember when the Nets had the likes of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Cam Thomas was the guy that would come in from time to time when any one of those three players was injured, out for, other reasons. And Cam Thomas would come in and just put up a huge scoring night. He's got a career high 47 points in a single game. And this year, again, he's averaging 24.7 points per game, shooting above the league average in three-point percentage. He continues to improve that three-point percentage as he's increasing the volumes of threes taken and doing it on a team that is not very good and doesn't have a lot of other players to focus on. He should be the main focus for defenses in the NBA, and yet he's still able to improve his scoring numbers. It's very impressive to see. But now with him out for the next 3 to 4 weeks at least, and if we go ahead and take a look at the injury report, you see the Nets also have Nick Claxton out for a couple days. You see Noah Clowney's going to be out for a little while. Bogdanovich is going to be out for a little while. You start to wonder, is this where the Brooklyn Nets flip the page and they start to tank like really hard? You got to wonder if a lot of the teams that were considered to be tanking teams or teams that are going to be lottery teams going into the draft next year, if they're trying at the start of the season just to get a little bit of extra income from the NBA Cup. There is the potential of being an NBA Cup champion without being a playoff team, as we saw with the Lakers last year. So, actually the Lakers did make the playoffs, but they got swept. Anyways, there's the potential to not be that good of a team and still make it to the NBA Cup championship and potentially win and have some additional earnings for the roster. So you got to wonder if some of these tanking teams or teams that you would expect to tank are trying to do so. And we look at the Brooklyn Nets. They've been sitting middle of the pack in the East for a while now. They were sitting around, I think, like 4th or 5th in the East to start the season. Of course, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It's an 82-game season. But that being said, they're tied with the Pacers right now at 7th. However, if they just lose a couple games here, they're already going to slip back to that 11-12 range. And you got to imagine teams like the Charlotte Hornets, teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, and teams like the Atlanta Hawks even, they have incentive to try and at least be somewhat competitive. So I would imagine that the Nets are going to start to slip here. And it makes me wonder if players like Cam Thomas, once he's back from injury, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, Dorian Finney-Smith, are those guys going to be available for trading? We already had the announcement about a week or two ago, I believe, that Cam Thomas was on the trade block. He was available if the price is right that's being offered to Brooklyn. So you got to wonder if these other key role players for the Nets are going to be offered. Now, Nick Claxton did just sign an extension, so it would be kind of a head-scratcher perhaps if he got traded this season before the deadline, unless, of course, it was a really good offer. But yeah, it just makes you wonder. What's cooking in Brooklyn. Are they going to be offering some players for some trades here leading up to February? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think we're going to see at least one, if not two, of those players I just mentioned traded away at some point before the trade deadline, and I think we'll see the Nets start to slip down. Again, you got teams like the Sixers and the Hornets that I think have incentive to perform a little bit better. I guess the Hornets and the Hawks are up for debate. It's just my opinion based on the collection of players that they have that they'd want to perform a little bit more. But that's, again, just my opinion. Any fans of these teams, let me know if you're thinking otherwise. Wizards, I can see the case for the Wizards tanking. But yeah, let me know. And again, looking at Cam Thomas' stats one more time, just incredible numbers. 86% from the free throw line too. And it's not like he doesn't do other things either. He's got 3 assists, 3 rebounds per game. He's doing this all in 33 minutes played per game, so he can play huge minutes. He can, put up tons of shots. He can perform very well, make a high percentage of those shots. Who wouldn't want a guy like that on their team? Very interesting to see if a playoff or a championship contending team is going to try to pick him up in a trade. Now, that being said, like I said, I want to make this a quick video. Going over the NBA game predictions that we've been doing on this channel every day. I predict the winner of the NBA regular season games. We compare to the FanDuel Sportsbook betting odds. I'm not promoting or encouraging you to use FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm not partnered or affiliated with any sports betting, sports gambling site. If you're going to do any of that, do it responsibly. I'm just sharing my opinion. This is not financial or betting advice. It's just something we're doing for fun. And I figure FanDuel Sportsbook is the best comparison because it's right here on the NBA.com page. Very easy to look at and compare. So we started to catch up. We've been a little bit behind the sportsbook betting odds. We were down 11 games. Now we're only down 5. After last night, we had a couple huge W's. Talking about the Bucks getting the upset on the road against Miami, and also the Rockets getting the close win against the Timberwolves. So the betting favorite for both those games was Heat and Timberwolves. We picked Bucks Rockets. We're right back in the driver's seat. So looking at today's games, there's a ton of games going on because none of the NBA teams are playing any games tomorrow on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the States. And let's go ahead and start picking games. So Heat and Hornets. I'm going to lean towards Heat on this one. It is the second night of a back-to-back for them after a tough loss at home. I think they can turn things around, get the W on the road in Charlotte. And actually, before I continue, I do want to take a look at the NBA Cup standings. I think that would be something interesting to see. Where's the Heat right now? Okay, the Heat are not in contention at all, and neither are the Hornets for the NBA Cup. So this is, for the most part, just a regular, I guess they're technically in contention, but the odds are very low. This is more like just a regular season game for them at this point. So got to keep that in mind too. And I think the Heat get the win. Hawks and Cavs, definitely going to give this one to the Cavs at home. Actually, hold on, let me take that back, because the Hawks are actually in contention right now. Okay, actually all 4 of these teams are in contention for winning Group C in the East. So we'll still give it to the Cavs. Blazers and Pacers. I'm going to lean towards Pacers on that one. Bulls and Magic. I know the Bulls are in contention. The Magic also. I'll give this one to the Magic. The reason I'm looking at this, I know most fans do not care so much about the NBA Cup standings, qualifications, but the players care because they get paid more if they win. And so some of the teams that are not as good may want to win these games if they are still in contention for winning their group. So that's why I think it's worth considering for these games. So we'll take the Magic at home. Rockets and Sixers. Man, Sixers have been struggling, and the Rockets have been sneaky good, but no longer sneaky. They're good. They're good. So we'll take the Rockets. Clippers and Wizards. Take the Clippers on the road. Knicks and Mavs. I'm going to take my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks, even though they are dealing with those injury issues. We saw how well they performed. Actually, hold on. Who's injured on the Mavs still? Is anyone still out with sickness? It looks like questionable. All questionable for today. Quentin Grimes and Derek Lively. Derek Lively left halfway through the game against the Hawks on Monday night due to that illness. Luka's still out, of course, and then Clay, it looks like he's questionable today for the Knicks as well with that foot injury. I don't know who the Knicks have injured. Oh my goodness. Okay, so they still got their bigs outside of Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm still leaning. I know the Knicks had a really great game the other night against the Nuggets. Am I really that biased that I would pick the Mavs here? Perhaps I am. We'll take the Mavs at home. Everyone's going to call me crazy, but I'm doing it. I'm calling Mavs at home. Pistons and Grizzlies, we'll take the Grizzlies at home. Kings, Timberwolves, the Kings have been struggling. We'll take the Timberwolves at home, even though they just had that tough loss, second night of a back-to-back. I think they can turn things around, and it's against the Kings, who've also been struggling. So give it to the Timberwolves, Raptors, and Pelicans. That is That's an awful battle. I think the Raptors could win this one. It'll be tough. I think DeJounte Murray is back or coming back from injury. We'll still give it to Toronto. Lakers, Spurs will give it to Lakers. Nets and Suns give it to the Suns. Nuggets, Jazz give it to the Nuggets. Thunders and Warriors. Steph Curry was just announced right before recording this that he is going to be out for the Warriors, so we'll give this to the Thunder. And just to look at the betting odds now, the favorites. Miami favored on the road, Cleveland favored at home, Indiana favored at home, Orlando favored at home, Houston favored on the road, Clippers favored away, Knicks favored by 4, that does not surprise me. Memphis favored at home, Minnesota favored at home, Pelicans favored by 3, that doesn't surprise me either, but we're still picking that upset. Lakers favored on the road by a couple. Phoenix favored and Denver favored, and OKC only favored by a few points, but I think that'll change in an hour or two once the Steph Curry injury is taken into account. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and click one of the videos on your screen now for some more NBA discussion.